Hey guys, welcome to Stuffbox. On this tutorial, you'll learn how to apply what you've learned from the first video. In addition to that, you'll learn how to animate your presentation. What you are seeing right now is the iPhone 11 presentation that we're going to create. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe and help this channel out. Now let's create a new document. Click File, New. We'll stick to a wide format, and I'll pick a white one. Click Choose. So let's zoom out a bit, just to see what we're working with. So now, let me show you how to modify your toolbar. Right-click on the gray area of the toolbar, then select Customize Toolbar. Now you can add and remove items on your toolbar. If you don't use table, you can drag it out to remove it. And if you want to add an item, drag it on the toolbar. Click Done. So what we want to do now is create a title. Click the text box and we'll type our title and subtitle. Instead of having a white background, let's change this to a different color background. If you don't see these options, make sure nothing is selected other than the slide. As you can see, the background here is set to white. We can change that to gray. Now, go to the first slide, then right-click and select Duplicate. Then select both of these text boxes. You can click and drag, and then press Delete on your keyboard. Next, we'll create a shape animation using the Apple logo. We'll start with inserting an image. Click Media and select Choose. Then I'll select my image, click Insert. What I'll do next is create an outline using the Pen tool. So click Shape, then the Pen tool. I'll use the Pen tool to create an outline of this image. I'll create these points and then readjust the points to create our outline. I'll change the line color to white so we can see it better. Let's zoom in a little bit so we can see what we're working on. Whenever a circle appears on your line, that means you can drag that line to create a curved line. That's perfect. I'll create a fill. Actually, I'll make that white. Now we'll create the second outline. Click Shape and the Pen tool again, and then create the outline. So don't worry about it not being straight in the beginning. You can always readjust this. Now we'll change it to white again so it's much more visible. Just gonna zoom in. Now readjust these points. Every time you put your mouse pointer in between 2 points, another curved point appears. You can then adjust your lines using those points. Now that I'm done tracing, I can delete that image. Just gonna center this. There you go. Add a text box on the bottom. Highlight the text box and increase the font size to 90. Adjust the position and change the font to white. Then reposition all of these on the middle. Now let's add another slide again by duplicating the slide and delete the elements that's currently there. Let's add a chart. Chart. Just gonna make it simple by adding a 2D. Let's put a title. Title is going to be iPhone sales. Add a border on the chart. I want to change the chart color. I'll pick a textured color. And then if you don't like the rectangle, you can make it rounded corners. And instead of the top and the bottom being round, click on outside corners only. Scroll down more and we'll see what other options we can use. I kind of want the background a bit different, like on color fill. So we don't have a data yet. Let's edit the chart, put a data. I'm just gonna have one row. Delete the row. I'll add some sample data. These numbers are not real. This is just to showcase how to use the chart toolbar. I'll also fast forward inputting the data. I'll adjust the size since this chart looks massive. Hold Shift on your keyboard to make it more proportional and let it go. Then I'll put it in the middle. Now that we've added a chart, let's see if we can add a movie. Same thing, right click, duplicate, delete this. To add a movie, click Media on the toolbar and select Choose. And I'll pick this movie. So it will automatically fill your whole slide. You can adjust it to be in the middle. This movie doesn't actually refer to iPhones, but I just want to put a movie as an example. You can edit a few features on this. You can add a style to make it more of a picture frame. Add a shadow as well, drop shadow. Now click Movies beside the Style tab. I'm going to change the poster frame a bit. And if you want to loop the video, click Repeat and then set it to loop. Start movie on click. When you are in presentation mode, you have to click your mouse or clicker to start the movie. If you want your movie to start automatically when it goes to this slide, then uncheck this. Let's start animating these slides now. Let's go back to slide 2. Select the first image. Click Animate, Build In, Action, and Build Out. The difference between these three is Build In is the first animation for that object, and Build Out is the last animation for that object, and Action is anything in between. For this object, I'm only concerned with the Build In. We're going to use the line draw, and clockwise is fine. 2 seconds seems to be a good speed. I'm going to animate this as well. For the apple, we're going to add effect and we're going to use trace. To see the order of this animation, what you want to do is click on build order and you can see shape, which is the body of the apple. The second one is the leaf and the third one is the apple text. But it says start on click, so we always have to click the mouse for it to appear. I want it automatic. We'll start with this one. Instead of on click, we'll do after transition. We'll do the same thing for this, after build 1, and we'll do the same thing for this, which is after build 2. We can preview it by clicking preview. That looks good. We'll close that. You'll know if you put an animation in a slide because there'll be 3 dots that will appear on the bottom left of that slide. Those 3 dots won't be visible when you click play, it's just visible on the navigator menu. On the third slide, we can also add an animation. Click add effect and we can pick object revolve. That looks good. Okay, I kind of want this to have a transition from second to the third slide. We'll use blinds. From right to left, top to bottom. Preview it. Yeah, I like it. 1 second seems to be good. It also says on click. We'll just use it automatically so that when it goes to the third page, it will automatically appear. Let's add a slide. Right click, duplicate. Going to delete this. Another option to add an image is opening the Finder and dragging the image that you want to add. There's a white background. You can delete the white background by using Instant Alpha. Select Format, Image, and Instant Alpha. And hover over here. Click the color that you don't like. And you can increase that to 3% or more. Release the mouse. And click Done. Just going to make it bigger. I'm going to add descriptions. We'll click text. I already have some text over here that I prepared. It's on my text. Copy this and paste it. I'll then move it into position. I'll change the alignment to the left. Click text and alignment is middle. I'll click the left alignment. Let's increase the font size to that. Click out. Maybe I'll move the image a little bit here. Let's put an animation on this. We'll use the image, animate, add effect, scale big. Let's also add an animation on this text. We'll use move in. Since it entered from left to right, we'll change that to right to left. Preview. I'll remove the bounds. Now let's check the build order. And right now it's on click. We'll use on click on the first one, but on the second one we'll use after build one. Preview it. Okay, great. Move on to the next slide. We'll close this. Duplicate this slide. I'm going to delete all these elements. Press delete. To save time, I'm going to duplicate a bunch of these blank slides. Let's add a big text and say I'm going to format this text. Select them all. Click that and we'll hold it and see how big it can go. We'll add a shadow on it. You can find the shadow by going to style and click drop shadow. Let's put a little bit of reflection there. Okay, I like that. It's nice and simple. Now let's animate it. Click on animate, add effect. We want it to drop. Going to increase the duration to 2 seconds. Alright, that's a simple one. Let's go move on to the next slide. I'm gonna open my Finder. Add this image. I'm gonna put it in the middle. So let me add a media. Click choose. And add this movie. It would say that it's not optimized for iPhone, but we're not playing on an iPhone, so we're okay. I want to send it to the back. Click on back. This is most likely not in your toolbar. You can find it by going to Format, Arrange, and click back. That's also another option to get there. We'll adjust this. For this movie, I'm going to adjust the poster frame. I don't mind start movie on click, and I don't want it to loop. Okay, let's move into the next slide. I'm just going to add more slides so we have some extras. Let's add some shapes. We'll just use a very basic rectangle. Put it in the middle. Change this to black. Double click on the shape and add a text. Going to increase this. Change the color to yellow. Click on this cogwheel. Put an outline. And let's make that yellow. Everything else looks good. I'm going to show you guys how to animate using Magic Move. I'll duplicate the slide, then select the duplicated slide, and then readjust the size of this shape. I'm gonna add another shape, make that black. I'll put a text in it. Outline, change that to green. And text color, Let's make that black and then bold and increase the outline. Add another shape, then double click for text. Change this to green and increase the font. Add another bounding box. Before we do that, select all of these and make sure it's in the middle. I'm going to add an image inside this box. Go to my Finder and add the Bionic chip. Put that in there. Probably adjust this so it looks more of a square. I'm just going to readjust all the shapes. Let's see if we can edit this image a little bit. There you go. It's a little bit brighter. So I'm going to create the last few boxes, but I'll fast forward it since you already know how to create these boxes. Now I can add more elements on these boxes. Now normally if you add a text in a box, it will always add the text in the middle. I don't want to do that. I want to put it in the bottom. So what you want to do is add a text. Since our background is black, I want to change this to white. Now drag it to its position. So I'm going to change the color of this lightning using advanced image fill. And we'll use stripes. Then change the color to gray. Let's add another shape. I'm going to duplicate this text. And then adjust the size. We'll use image fill on this last shape. Add another text. Edit that text. We can probably make that look better. Select the whole thing. We'll make it into an outline. And I'll change the color to white. Here in the text color, click no fill. Let's increase that outline again. Alright, that looks good. Let's put this in the middle though. Now we're ready to animate using Magic Move. From your first slide, click Animate, Add Effects, Magic Move. It gives us a notification that two slides must have at least one object in common. We do. We have the 36 and the small 36 there. Click OK. Good, that's how it looks. If we press play, click Next. We can also add another animation from here. Going to add the blinds effect. So the key thing with Magic Move is having that same image on the next slide, and it will just do its magic. So let's move on to the next slide. We'll just do a simple text animation. You already know how to create these texts, so I'll fast forward it. Then I'll add some lines and copy and paste these. I got this information from the Apple website. In this case, we want to highlight the iPhone 11 Pro. We can change the color. Now let's add an animation. Click Animate, Add Effect. We'll just use up here. But on the line, we'll use Line Draw. We'll click the build order so that it appears together. On click, This one after build 1, what I want to do is with build 1. So that way when the text appears, the line also appears. This is how it looks. Okay, that creates a dramatic effect in terms of featuring what you want to talk about. Moving on to the next slide, I'm going to add an image. Now I just wanted to showcase just this part of that image by going to Format, Image, Mask with Shape, and we want rounded rectangle. Let's resize this. Then I'm going to add few descriptions. Then I'll fast forward since you already know how to add text and lines on Keynote. So now we're ready to animate this. Select the text, click Animate, click Build In, and add an effect. And we want to use Wipe. For the line, we'll use Line Draw. Now click on Build Order. I want them together. I'm going to drag the line with the text, and then I'm going to change that with Build 1. And then I'm going to change the first build to after transition as opposed to click. So we'll do the same for all the other texts. We'll do a wipe on that, but we'll change the direction of that wipe from right, and then the line draw as well on that line. Same thing, we'll modify the build order, and I don't want on click, I want it right after build 2. And this one with build 3. Okay, that's good. And then we'll do the same thing for this. Add effect, wipe, and then line draw. We'll just adjust the build order. We want it after build 4. And then this with build 5. Just gonna do a quick preview again for you guys to see. Alright, let's move on to the next slide. The next thing I want to show you is adding an image gallery. I'll go to Finder, we'll put the iPhone photo that I have here. I'm just going to close the build order. Click on Format, Arrange, and then Rotate. You can also type it in at 90 degrees. Then resize it. Now I want to add an image gallery within this image. Go to Media and click Image Gallery. I'm going to send it to the back so we can see the phone. Click Back. And then resize it so it's within that iPhone. So now we're ready to add the images. Click Gallery. Here is where you would add your photos. Click plus, select all the photos, and then click Open. And then if you click Next here, you'll see all your photos. Now the default animation for Image Gallery is Appear. So if you click on Image Gallery and click Animate, right now it's just on Appear. If we do a preview, it does that. There are other options here, few options, and you can use Dissolve, which I think that works out. We'll probably increase the duration to 2 seconds. Now we didn't put a caption yet. I won't be putting any caption. Since we didn't type anything, that caption won't appear when we press play. From here we can add another text, And I'll just put a title and modify the size and position. I'm also going to put an animation there. Click on animate, add an effect, and we'll use pop. Let's look at the build order. So all the photos will dissolve. I want the iPhone 11 Pro to go first. And then all the other image as we click our mouse or our presentation device. Now, if you want to add music onto a slide, click Media, click Music. Now we'll open your iTunes library. I only have one song in there. And click that. And you'll see this icon on your slide. Now this will not be visible when you hit play. I'm just gonna put it on the side. Now if you look at our build order, you can see that the music is the last thing that will play. So what you want to do is drag it to the very top, so that's the first thing it will play. And then we want it after transition, so it plays automatically when it goes on the slide. If you want music on your whole presentation and not just a slide, what you want to do is go to Document. Let's close this build order and click Audio. And you can add the music over here by clicking plus. It will open your iTunes library again. That plays on your whole document now, starting from the very first slide. You'll also notice that it's set to play once. You can also change it to loop, or you can turn it off. If you want to delete the music from your presentation, select the song and press delete on your keyboard. Now, another setting that I want to talk about is under Document tab. This setting will automatically put your Keynote on play mode. This one is to loop the slideshow. And this one will restart the show if idle for 15 minutes, which you can set duration. Require password to open. If this is a confidential document, you definitely want to put a password on it. So I'm going to cancel that because I don't want the password on this doc. If you want to save this Keynote into a different format, click File, Export. You have an option for PDF, PowerPoint, or a movie. The movie has a little bit more setting. You can set it as self-playing, which goes to the next slide every 5 seconds, and the next build is set to 2 seconds. You can also change the resolution to 1080p, and of course it will be a larger file. And then click Next. Now that we're done, let's press play and see how it turned out. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope this helped you. Please leave a comment below if you have any questions, and don't forget to subscribe.